Welcome, boys and girls, wherever you could be watching me. This is Mafunzo New Curriculum Television coming to you live and direct. Today is a very special session because I want to do thorough prediction of KC KPSEA, KPSEA, grade 6 exam, which they are starting this week. On Friday, they had sitting rehearsal. And then from Monday, 28th October, they will now embark in the real exam. So today, Mafunzo New Curriculum has not sat back, but it is also taking part, making sure that it is doing the real, thorough, and a precise prediction of this exam. And I will do so following the content from these books. You can see this one is KPSEA is about questions from the previous classes and even the current class. That's why I have this book, Social Studies for grade 5. I also have this one for grade 6. I've sampled questions from all these levels. And then I've not forgotten about intensive social studies, which was very good during KCPE. But again, it can be of great help in sampling questions and prediction for this grade. Then I've also looked at our lives grade 6. So these are some of the books I've sat down as a great teacher, and I've come up with the revision questions to predict this exam, which is commencing tomorrow. And boys and girls, my only success I can give you is to sit back, relax, so that I can give you some of the possible areas to be tested. And these areas, to me, the prediction is sure bet, 99%. So you can easily get a question like this one on next week. For example, you can get a question asking about the immediate neighboring countries to Kenya, the immediate neighboring countries to Kenya. So this question is about who is our neighbor to the north, who is neighboring Kenya to the east, who is neighboring Kenya to the west, who is neighboring Kenya to the northwest, who is neighboring Kenya to the southeast, etc., etc. And I want to say, I'll mention country and direction. To the north, our neighbor is Ethiopia, and to the east, our neighbor is Somalia, that is to the east, and to the west, our neighbor is Uganda, while to the south and the southeast, Kenya is neighboring Tanzania, and to the southeast, Kenya is neighboring the Indian Ocean. So boys and girls, don't just take this one for granted. In KPSEA, you are most likely to get a question about who is Kenya's immediate neighbor. If they ask you that question, you should know who is Kenya's neighbor to the northwest, and that is South Sudan. To the north, we have Ethiopia. To the east, we have Somalia. To the west, we have Uganda. To the south and southwest, we have Tanzania. And then to the southeast, we have the Indian Ocean. Then I'm also predicting this. I'm also seeing a question most likely to come from this area: the longitudes and about the longitudes and the what and the latitudes. Remember, we have discussed that in the totality we have 180 degrees of latitudes, and in totality we have 360 degrees of longitudes. Now, I don't want to go back to that, but I want to dwell. You can have a question like this one. Correct. You can be asked to name the characteristics of longitudes. A question can be posted like this: which one among the following is not a characteristic of longitudes? And here I want to give you about 4 characteristics of longitudes. One of them is longitudes, they run from north to south. That is one characteristic. Longitudes, they are also called meridians. Longitudes are 180 degrees. There are 180 degrees of longitude east of prime meridian and 180 to the west. In total, they are 360 degrees. East of prime meridian, 180 degrees. West to the prime meridian, 180 degrees. Total, putting together 180 degrees to the east, 180 degrees to the west, they amount to 360. And then the other characteristic of longitude is that longitudes meet at the poles. That is North Pole and the South Pole. So boys and girls, put into remembering that one. Then the other one, which I'm foreseeing, another area which is like to be tested, is about the lakes. And one area they may likely test you is on Oxbow Lakes. And here I want to sample examples of Oxbow Lakes in Eastern Africa. Here I will mention the lake where found country. Because most of these lakes, Oxbow Lakes, they are found where a river has been blocked. An example, for example, we have Utange, Lake Utange. This one is found on River Rufiji in Tanzania. Then we have Kanyamboli, Lake Kanyamboli in River Yala in Kenya. Lake Ngambi, River Tana, Kenya. Then there's Shakababo, Lake Shakababo, found in River Tana, that is in Kenya. And then there's another one, Bilisa, Lake Bilisa, found in River Tana, and that's in Kenya. Those are some of the Oxbow lakes, which are very common. They are commonly tested. Lake Utange, River Rufiji. Lake Kanyabola, River Yala, Kenya. Gambi, Tana River, and many others. So another area which is likely to be tested is on physical features. Remember we said physical features, these are the things, the natural things. We see them appearing on the Earth's surface. And these physical features, they are those which are relief, they are those which are drainage. Now, here is this question. Which physical feature is shared by most countries? There are some physical features which are shared by maybe 2 countries, others by 3 countries, others by 4 countries. For example, Lake Victoria is a physical feature shared by 3 countries. These are Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. What about Mount Elgon? Mount Elgon is a physical feature which is shared by 2 countries, simply because it is at the border of Kenya and Uganda. So it is shared. Part of it is found to the Kenyan side, and the other side of Mount Elgon is found to the Ugandan side. That one is shared by 2 countries. Lake Victoria, I've seen 3 countries. Mount Elgon, 2 countries. What about Indian Ocean? Indian Ocean in Eastern Africa is shared by 3 countries. These are Kenya. Kenya has got access to Indian Ocean. Somalia has got an access to Indian Ocean, same as Tanzania. What about the Rift Valley? The Rift Valley, it is shared by so many countries. It passes through so many countries. It is connecting so many countries. For example, it is shared by Eritrea. Part of it is in Eritrea, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi. That is Eritrea, Kenya, Rwanda, Djibouti, Uganda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Tanzania. Those are 8 countries. So a question can be posed. Which physical feature is shared by many countries? Please be very wise. If it is a lake, get to know how many countries are sharing that lake. If it is a mountain, get to know how many countries share that mountain. If it is like the Rift Valley, it is covering so many areas. And that's why if they ask you among those, Lake Victoria, Mount Elgon, Indian Ocean, and Rift Valley, which one of them is shared by many countries, automatically the answer would be the Rift Valley. Then you can get another question on capital cities of these 11. Eastern Africa comprises of 11 countries, the largest being Sudan, the smallest being Djibouti. Then it is very important, boys and girls, you remember all the capital cities. And please, you remember well. For example, the capital city of Sudan is Khartoum. The capital city of Ethiopia is Addis Ababa. The capital city of Tanzania is Dodoma. Although Dodoma is not the largest city in Tanzania, we know very well the largest city in Tanzania is Dar es Salaam. But due to the centralized, due to the center of where this Dodoma is found, Dodoma was deemed to be more centralized compared to Dar es Salaam, and that's why it was the best option to be Tanzania's capital. South Sudan, we have Juba, although there are plans to move the capital city from Juba to Ramshell. Then Kenya is, of course, Nairobi. Uganda, it is Kampala. Eritrea is Asmara. Burundi is Bujumbura. Although, in the year 2011, the sitting president during that time, he proposed Gitega to be the new capital city. But for a city, for a town to be elevated to that position of being a capital city, it must undergo what we call the parliament vetting. It must be vetted by the parliament. And therefore, once he proposed, it has not been communicated. It is not known whether it was vetted. But so as we sit now here, as we talk now, Burundi, the capital city, remains to be Bujumbura. Although they were suggesting Bujumbura to be the economic capital city, and Gitega to be the political city. The capital city of Rwanda, automatically, it is Kigali, a country which is very, very fast. But when you compare the size of Rwanda, it is like that one of Kiambu County. Then we have Djibouti, the capital city of Djibouti, automatically it is Djibouti. That one of Eritrea is Asmara, and those are the capital cities. These people are they can trick you. They can even ask you about the sizes. So get to know the sizes in terms of kilometers square of each and every country. Remember, the largest is Sudan and the smallest is Djibouti. Also, other than that, get to know how many kilometers, how many square kilometers. Then, there's another question. In which vegetation zone is baobab and acacia trees common? Those two types of trees. Baobab, and acacia. And I want to take you through some of the vegetations and the types of trees and grass found. Desert. There are few patches of coarse grass, and the cactus is also found there. That is in a desert. And in a semi-desert, what kind of vegetation? Thorny trees, e.g., and also thorny trees, for example, these are like cactus, like baobab, euphorbia, and also acacia. Those are found in semi-desert. What about in mountain vegetation? This is kind of vegetation found. Hardwood trees, softwood trees, bamboo, heath, and the moorland, and of course there's bare rock that is now down, and also there's also grassland, savanna grassland. You can say savanna grassland, rainforest, bamboo, heath and the moorland, and of course at the top we have snow and bare rock. Savanna woodland, especially in central Tanzania. We have got two types of savanna. Savanna is divided into two. We have savanna grassland and savanna woodland. Savanna woodland has more trees than grass. Savanna woodland, one characteristic of it is that it has more trees than grass. That's why it is called savanna woodland. And the most common trees found there are acacia and the miombo woodland. For example, miombo woodland of Tanzania. Savanna grassland, it is composed of tall grass known as elephant grass. And this grass can grow as far as 2 meters. Say 2 meters or 5. Then there are a few scattered trees such as acacia, baobab, and euphorbia. So remember that, boys. Remember that. As you peruse your notes, don't forget to peruse the different types of vegetation. Then there's what are the importance of historic built environments in Eastern Africa? What are the importance of historic built environment. There are so many importance. For example, these historic built environments, they create, they create a sense of belonging. They tell us our origin, where we came from. That's one importance. The other importance is that they do provide employment opportunities. Then they also serve as a source of learning center. They serve as a source of learning center. And lastly, but not least, they also attract. They also attract tourists. They attract tourists and foreign exchange. And also, they enable social interactions with the friends, family, and of course, friends. Then you can be asked to give the reasons that led to the Nandi migration from where they were living initially. Remember, Nandi, they are Nilotes. So the same reasons which meant the other Nilotes to move from wherever they were, that is southern Sudan, are the same reasons as to why the Nandi had to migrate. And some of these reasons were Nilotes, they were looking for pasture for their animals simply because they were pastoralists. That was one of the reasons. They were also running away from diseases which killed their animals. And also they were moving away from drought and hunger. And also they were running away from hostile neighbors. Then we're going to get into another question like this. What are the symbols of that promote national unity? There are these two things. There are symbols of unity, and there are factors that promote national unity. So here you can be asked about what are the symbols that promote national unity. There are quite a number of them. For example, number one, it is the national flag. Number two, the coat of arms. Number three, the national anthem. And of course, the public seal, which is the government stamp. Then, going on, you can still get another question like, why do people pay taxes? There are so many reasons why we do pay taxes as Kenyans. People complain, we are being overtaxed. But as a country, remember I said a government does not have money of its own. The government depends on the collection of its taxes. And I want to give you, I'm seeing a question coming from that area. People pay taxes. Why do people pay taxes? One, paying taxes help the government to raise money for development. It also helps the government to pay, these taxes helps the government to pay salaries to civil servants. These taxes help the government to purchase goods and services for use. These taxes also enable the government to pay telecom bills, to build and provide supply, to build and provide and also supply medicine to hospitals, to pay electricity bills, water bills, and also this money is used for development on projects such as building schools, building social amenities, building roads, airports, mega dams, building seaports, providing water services, drilling boreholes for the mwananchi. So there are so many things that can be done by the government through this tax. Then another area that is you are likely to be tested is the number of how many member states make up EAC. How many countries are the member states of East African Community? Well, one of them is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, not forgetting South Sudan, DRC, and Somalia. And don't forget, EAC was initiated in the year 1967. By then, there were only 3 countries. Those were Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Then, identify some of the solutions to problems associated with mining. Mining, extraction of variable stones from underground. Identify some of the solutions. There are so many problems that are caused by mining. But here, you can be asked to identify one solution to problems associated with mining. And I've given you about 3 solutions. One of them is by planting trees and grass to restore wasted land. By planting trees and grass to restore the wasted land, and also to close up the mines using environmental friendly measures. To close up the mines, where you have done the mining, you close up the mine using environmental friendly measures. And lastly, another solution is controlling soil, water, and air pollution that comes from the mines. You control the soil, water, and the air pollution that comes from the mine. Then you can also expect a question on like this one. What are some of the effects? What are some of the effects of mining? Effects of mining, there are quite many. Effects of mining on the environment, there are so many. This may include, it causes air pollution. Mining causes air pollution. It also causes water pollution. It also causes wastage of agricultural land. It also causes, or rather destroys, the landscape and the beauty of the land. And it also leads to displacement of people. People are displaced. They are moved from their original land to another land. Then you can get a question on which one of the following human rights is not exercised by children below 18 years. Number one, you have to understand how many, at your level, how many types of human rights do you learn? We have what we call social rights, we have political rights, you have what we call economic rights. So here, you can get a question like this one. Among the following, which one is not a right for young people below 18 years? A, right to food, right to education, right to marry and have a family, right to live. Well, the one which is not a right to a person of that age, it is C, which says right to marry and have a family. At 18, you are yet to marry. You are not supposed to marry at that age, but maybe after 18 years, you can marry because you are seen to be a minor. Historical built environments and the country found. Historical built environments and the country found. These historical built environments, they are very important, and they remind us about the past, and they are also tourist attraction. So I'm going to mention about tourist attraction, country it is found. For example, number one, in Rwanda, we have the Kigali Genocide Memorial Museum. In Uganda, we have Namgongo Shrine. Kenya, we have Fort Jesus. Sudan, we have Roman Kiosk. South Sudan, we have John Garanga Mausoleum. Eritrea, we have St. Francis of Assisi Museum. Burundi, we have Independence Monument. Somalia, we have the Black Oak Crash Site Museum. And then in Djibouti, we have a monument, historic beauty invented by the name the People Palace, that is in Djibouti. Next, and then Askari Monument is found in Tanzania. And lastly, in Ethiopia, we have Victory Monument. What are minerals? What are some of the minerals mined in East Africa? In Kenya, these are the minerals, the main minerals: limestone, soda ash, salt, gold, crude oil at Ngamia, diatomite, Hariandusi, phosphor at Kerio Valley. Then in Somalia, the minerals are uranium and, of course, limestone. Tanzania, we have gold, we have limestone, salt, and diamond. Tanzania has got quite a number of minerals mined. Then in Rwanda, we have natural gas. Burundi, we have tin. Uganda, we have copper, crude oil, limestone, salt, and diamond. South Sudan, we have crude oil. Sudan, we have crude oil, gold, zinc, limestone, and salt. While in Eritrea, the mineral is limestone. Again, in Djibouti, we have limestone and salt. Then, with that one, boys and girls, I want to wish you well as you wait for the exam. And remember, when you are waiting for the exam, you need to revisit these books I've just shown you. This one is Social Studies Grade 5. And this one is Social Studies, the course book for Year 6, this one. And these questions I've been going through, I've also supplemented my research on this book. and also this book. So and also atlas. Atlas is very important. And an atlas, you can use an atlas, especially you check the following. You check the game parks, location of game parks, national reserves. Something else I also want you to do research is the main tourist attractions in Eastern Africa along the coastal area, which is sand beaches. I also want you to locate positions of lakes, especially the lakes found in each and every branch of the Rift Valley. Check to see those lakes which are found in the eastern branch. For example, Lake Turkana, Baringo, Bogoria, Lake Nakuru, Naivasha, Lemedaita, going that way, Lake Magadi, all the way to Natron. Then check the other side of the western branch, Lake Edward, Lake Kivu, and Waterview. So the other one, you check the mountains, position of mountains, the height of mountains, because I believe you will get, and also how mountains were formed, the host, the block. Otherwise, I wish you well. I wish you thorough preparation. And if you have followed me keenly, you can rewind the video. And I want to say, mine today was just to give you success as far as social studies is concerned, because I believe that one is a thorough revision, is a good prediction, it is a sure bet prediction of social studies. And you'll get so many questions from that lesson. For now, bye.